Hey guys, it's me, Seren, back with another car video. I'm still incredibly hoarse from my vacation, so please bear with me, but I am back. I had the best time, spent a lot of really nice time with my family that was really needed, and I scheduled those two videos that went up last week, the Hidden Figures and Black Friday, and they went up perfectly fine. It was my first time ever using that function on YouTube of scheduling videos, and they really worked, so that was super cool to see. So a lot of stuff happened while I was away, and what I really want to talk about in this video, which is not going to be that long, I promise you guys aren't going to have to listen to my raspy ass voice for too long, but this is actually something I've been thinking about for a while. I've wanted to do a video on it for a while. You know, I keep like lists and ideas and things that I'm constantly thinking about, and this is something that I've been thinking about for a while that I saw sort of come up while I was away, and that was this idea, which we talked about it briefly when I was at the airport on Sunday on live. This idea that we're challenging people's blackness. I have a video, it will be linked in the description box, as well as probably popping up in the right hand corner if you click on the eye, that is called PSA, No One Is Questioning Your Blackness. That is literally the name of a video that I made 3 years ago, that I had to make another one similar last year when I was also on vacation in Toronto. Those videos in particular are talking about colorism, because this is also something that comes up a lot when we start talking about colorism, is that people say, oh, well, you're trying to say that, you know, light-skinned people aren't black, and in those videos that I have previously, which again of course will be linked in the description box, I said no one is questioning your blackness. And in the full video, PSA, no one is questioning your blackness, I even expand on this idea even past colorism, just because this is a really common excuse. Like, this is an extreme, like, this video was literally from 3 years ago, called PSA, no one is questioning your blackness. It's a really common excuse that gets thrown out there when black people are being critiqued by other black people. We hear this whole, well, we're all black, so it doesn't matter, you guys are being divisive, and then we start getting into this territory of, well, you're questioning my blackness. Number one, no one is above critique, and just because someone is critiquing you or has a differing opinion doesn't necessarily mean they're questioning their blackness, so we could start there. Number two, we've been talking about for years and years and years identity. I have a whole series of videos on identity, and how, you know, how identity sort of operates on this sliding scale, that we can all be black, yes, we are all black, yes, but we can all be experiencing things in a different way. Just because we're all black, our various forms of identity, doesn't mean that we're all experiencing racism the same way. It doesn't mean that we're all experiencing you know, sexism in the same way. It doesn't mean that we're, you know, we have all these things that come into play that impact the experience that we're having. Skin color is one, you know, if you're able-bodied, what your gender is, what your sexual orientation is, what, you know, what type of hair you have, you know, all these different things also come into account. So it's just very interesting to see this excuse of, oh, well, you're questioning my blackness. No one's questioning anyone's blackness. No one has questioned anyone's blackness at any point. And I also want to say, this is really the meat and potatoes of this video. It's very interesting to see people that, oh, they're so smart, right? They're so fucking smart. They understand so much, but they can't seem to grasp the way that identity sort of works on this sliding scale, and that we are having different experiences based off of ethnicity, right? Which is a huge part of what we're talking about. You know, black Americans as our own ethnicity, that we're having different experiences based off of nationality, again, off of skin color, yet again, off of gender, yet again. People all of a sudden, they can't grasp the shit. They can't grasp it. And something that I've been thinking about a lot, in particular, the way that this relates to the black American experience, is that since, you know, black American ethnicity and culture is so mainstream, it's really been just mainstreamed into the global collective consciousness, as well as throughout the diaspora. A lot of people latch onto a black American identity as a mainstream Black identity, especially immigrants that come to this country, Black immigrants that come to this country, to the United States, latch on to this Black American mainstream identity as their Black identity. When people are trying to create this identity, and then you can even dig even deeper down into that, into, you know, the people that we talk a lot about, people that didn't realize they were Black until, you know, last week. You know, they're just sort of forming this identity of what does it mean to be Black, and they're reading, you know, this material. They're studying the academics of Black American, you know, academics. They're studying the activist work of Black American activists like Angela Davis or Martin Luther King Jr. They're studying the art of Black American artists like Kerry James Marshall, or, you know, Alice Walker, who coined the term womanism, or Toni Morrison. So much of our mainstream activism, which I've even got into this in my video with Ken, so much of our mainstream activism, our mainstream academia, our mainstream art, especially as it pertains to Blackness specifically, revolves around the Black American experience. So you have people that kind of latch onto this Black American experience as a way to express their Blackness, to formulate, you know, their Black identity. And so when you say to them, you're not Black American, what they hear is, you're not Black. Even though that's not what we said, even though that's not what I said, that's not what I've said in any of my videos on this topic. I literally have a video called "No One is Questioning Your Blackness." You know, that's what they hear, because their whole Black identity revolves around this idea of what we do as Black Americans. And also that walks hand in hand with the disrespect and, you know, the not being able to understand that we are our own ethnicity as descendants of American chattel slavery. Our ideas are not, and our experience and our ancestry and our history is not just something you could pick up and put on like a coat. And this is not even just Black people that do this. I've really been fucking thinking about this shit for a long ass time, well over a year, going on 2, since at least 2016, when I did this fellowship program. It was an art and activism fellowship program. I was one of 2 Black girls in the program, and I actually have an episode of the Black Americans coming on this topic, where I was one of 2, you know, Black girls in the program. And you were sitting in the program, and everybody in the program is talking about, you know, how they draw this inspiration from these Black artists, and they draw these Black American artists. You see, like, the American is almost like this invisible thing that we drop off. You know, we say Black, but we mean Black American specifically, but it kind of just turns into this, oh, Black, you know, this just this again, this cloak, this idea, our hypervisibility has really turned us into ghosts, really, into we're just an idea. We're just an endless well of art, of academia, of activism, of you know, just that anybody can take, that anybody can mine, that anybody can rape, you know, Black or non-Black, American or foreign, you know. There doesn't have to be any respect for us, our ideas, or our culture, or anything that we do. Anybody can just pick it up and put it on, you know, like a coat. And I'm doing this program, and everybody is so inspired by Black Americans and our work and our art, but there are no Black Americans in this space, right? We don't even have to be present in the space. We're so hyper visible that we don't even have to really exist in a certain type of way beyond being something that people can just sort of latch onto and formulate this academic identity around, formulate this artistic identity around, formulate this activist identity around. When the whole Rachel Dolezal thing happened, you had people saying, well, why can't she be Black? You know, she went to the schools and she took all the classes and she did all the studies. Why can't she be a Black American? Again, this idea that we're not our own ethnicity, that we're not our own culture, that we don't have our own ancestry, that we don't have our own history, that anybody can take a couple classes or, you know, read some Toni Morrison and pick it up and put it on like a coat. And that, again, that's anyone regardless of race. And then, but when you start digging even deeper into how this pertains to the diaspora, the idea that so many people have formulated their whole mainstream Black identity around what Black Americans have done specifically, so that when you say, say, well, you're not a Black American, sorry, you're not a descendant of American chattel slavery like I am, which you're not. Either you are or you are not. People are really trying to make that super difficult and convoluted, and it's really not. It's like, are you a descendant of American chattel slavery, yes or no? It's really not that hard, but people are so attached to this idea of our specific history and our specific culture and our specific ethnicity as something that belongs to everyone because it's been mainstreamed, globally all over the world, that people have formulated their whole Black identity around it. And so when you say, hey, you're not a descendant of American chattel slavery, what they hear is you're not Black, right? They don't even know who they are. These people don't even know who they are. I know who I am. I'm very secure in it. People don't know who they are. They don't know. Their whole identity is made around us. And then again, getting into the double dipping, they feel like they should be allowed to have this mainstream Black, cool, activist, artistic, academic identity that is hooked into us as Black Americans, but then they should also be able to have at the same time their immigrant identity as Black foreigners. They should also be able to have, their diaspora identity, which is how we start getting into the double dipping and the triple dipping. They want to put up all these rules and regulations for us where they can put on and take off our culture, like a cloak so they can use it. It's being used, which is again getting into what we've been talking about this whole time. The using of us and our ideas and again our culture and our identity to form things for themselves, to use things for themselves to get ahead. Meanwhile, again, holding a POC card behind their back, an immigrant card behind their back, a model minority card behind their back, not like those other lazy Black Americans, descendants of American chattel slavery card behind their back, wanting to be us when it's convenient, wanting to not be us when it's convenient, wanting to be us when it comes time to form this activist identity or this academic identity or this artistic identity, not wanting to be us when it comes time to deal with the fucking racism and all the shit that we have to go through as descendants, not just Black people that have moved to this country, not just Black people that have even grown up in this country, but as literal descendants of American chattel slavery. It's not a hard concept to grasp. People don't want to grasp it because, just like I've been saying in other videos, that forces you to examine, who are you outside of the white gaze? Who are you outside of this manufactured identity that all revolves around Black American mainstream culture? Who are you outside of these things? People have no idea who they are. That's what they really need to start thinking about. So yeah, wanted to make this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace. I've been recording. I'm back. Where I was going to get Subway for lunch. As you guys know, I stopped eating meat. I went pescatarian. I've never been a big meat eater, but like apparently the tuna fish sandwiches at Subway are like popping. They're like the shit, and everybody knew except me. You guys were keeping the tuna fish sandwiches to yourselves, but that's neither here nor there. While I was in Subway, I actually had a thought that I wanted to add on to the end of this video, or I might end up editing the video altogether. We'll see. I changed my mind. It's not that they don't know who they are. I take that back. They know who they are. What it is they don't know who we are. They don't know who we are as Black Americans. They don't know who we are as the descendants of American chattel slavery. Even getting back to what I said about Black Panther a year ago, of I don't like this narrative being pushed that we are lost, that we have no culture, that we are nothing, right? That everything we do could just be picked up and put on like a coat because we are nothing and we are no one. These people don't know who we are. They know who they are, but they don't know who we are. They think we are nothing. They think we are no one. They don't respect us. They don't respect our culture, our ethnicity, our history, and our ancestry, which is why they think that they could be themselves and us. And that's also why they don't like it now that we're saying no, back off, right? That's why they don't like it. They don't know who we are. They don't respect us. But they learning, aren't they? They gonna learn today.